Have you ever felt that whisper in your soul calling you to something more, but all the things spinning around in your mind have kept you stuck? Well, what if I told you that choosing excellence could be both easier and more adventurous than you could ever imagine? I am Chelsea DeBruin-Colbert, your host of All Things Excellence. I'm a soul catalyst for excellence who leapt off that corporate cliff and left small town Iowa farm life in my 20s to follow my calling, helping women come home to themselves by anchoring into who they're designed to be. I create sacred containers where women rediscover their truth, design their dream life, and transform those whispers into action. Now you can find me running my business from the soccer sidelines as a coach's wife, hiking my favorite Arizona mountain, or back in Iowa with my family, or on an adventure chasing my next sunrise, hot cup of coffee and journal in hand. Through intimate conversations about the stories, the traumas, and the transformations behind choosing excellence, we're creating a collective healing journey together. I believe in diving deep into personality designs, experimenting boldly, and learning life's greatest lessons through our beautiful chaos. Every week, my guests and I are going to rip down the curtains so you can see behind the scenes of real transformation as we explore what excellence actually looks like. Not just the highlight reel, but that messy middle where the magic happens. Whether you're seeking inspiration to take that leap or already on your journey and craving connection, this is your invitation to join us. So grab your coffee, settle in, and get ready to discover just how close you are to the life your soul is calling you to create. This is All Things Excellence. All right. Hello, All Things Excellence fam. I am bringing my sweet friend, Annie Joy. Her middle name literally is Joy, but she is truly Joy. Exudes joy everywhere she goes. We are in the same kind of a networking community together of women. And it's also allergy season. We both live in Arizona. So you might hear both of us cough. Like here we are. We are at our best today. Welcome. We also both have, if you know anything about human design, we both have a 3 in our profile lines. So we are both very leap, crash, burn, learn type of spaghetti at the wall to figure out how to live our best life. Experiential wisdom kind of people. And we are going to talk about our story, but we're going to jump right in. I hit record dead in the middle of a sentence because you are I shouldn't say, I know people being called an expert. You help moms overcome loneliness.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? And so you, from an experiential wisdom standpoint, know a lot about being a woman and being lonely. And
Yes, ma'am.
you can
So much about being a woman and being lonely. I will claim it. I'm an expert. I have dealt with it on many levels. So, girl,
on loneliness. Because you have 2 kids.
I do.
And you have 2
Yes,
marriages behind you.
I sure do.
Big
And
marriages.
yeah,
And you have an autistic,
yes,
one of your kids has autism.
yep, he does. Bless his heart.
Yep. So we got a lot of areas of life we can be lonely.
I mean, listen, yeah, being a single mom and an autism mom, those both independently are pretty lonely spaces.
Yes. And
Yeah.
then I feel like I have several friends who have the whole like 2 marriages behind them thing. And it gives like people can get a little weird about that with themselves. I don't think anything of it, but like
Well, sure. I mean, I always make a joke about him. Like, I've been married twice because I'm keeping it classy. Like, I make a joke about it. Because some people really do get weird. But
yeah.
what I've learned is that's more about their beliefs about divorce than it is about me. And they don't know my full story. They don't know what I've been through. They don't know what led to those choices to leave those marriages. And so that's okay. They just don't know. But I do.
Like things inside of us, like some little pieces inside of us that need healed cause us to marry the one person and then we get divorced and we immediately run to the next without healing the thing that caused us to go to the very first person in the first place. And so then the after the second one is where we're like, oh, there's a pattern here. We should heal on this stuff and work on this. And then you have to give yourself that chance to find number 3.
Yeah, I hear third time's a charm. And what's funny too is that I got divorced from my first husband. I spent 3 years on my own. I did go to therapy. I did all the right things
Yeah.
to try to heal myself.
Yeah.
But the therapist I had, like, he kicked me out. He's like, "You could give therapy. You're done." And I'm
Oh,
like, "Okay, guess I'm good," you know?
oh,
I don't think trauma counseling was as popular as it is now or like really known about. We didn't dive into like my childhood issues and like what led me to the
yeah.
space, right? It
Yeah.
was like a here and now, here's the issues, why your husband was not a good fit for you, blah, blah, blah. Like it was
Perfect.
not,
That's surfacey.
we weren't diving into childhood stuff.
Dude,
So, but I had the all clear from my therapist. I'm like, all right.
let's go
And I
next.
went, and,
So,
yeah, I went and
what's
lived my
number
life,
two?
whatever. And
Was
yeah,
number
not
two a lot like
until,
number one? Was it were they similar?
um, no, which was interesting. But
Hmm.
what I realized the pattern
Hmm.
was
Yeah.
that I was willing to accept anybody who loved me. So the pattern was with me, not with them, if that makes
Well, they
sense.
were the pattern. They were both abusive. They had that in common.
Correct, right. But
Yeah.
like personality wise or looks wise
Oh.
or the
Oh. Oh.
particular issues that we had in our marriage weren't necessarily the same.
Okay.
But what I realized was that, I mean, I joke it's like the same husband in different pants, but
Yeah.
the issues were like they both came on strong with like the love bombing and like you're so amazing. I can't believe someone wouldn't want to marry you. Like I love you so much. And to someone who's insecure, that's like, oh, they love me,
Yeah.
right?
And
I
there's a
didn't
little bit.
know.
We've got some. No, probably they did sit in the narcissism camp just a little bit.
I mean, just a little bit,
A
I
little bit.
mean,
A little bit. A
I'm
little bit.
always trying to be very conscious of the fact that, like, one, I'm a baby daddy and
Yeah.
is still in my life,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I love and care for him, and I think he's wonderful, and
Yeah.
we have a good relationship now, but we were drawn to each other because of both of our childhood wounds.
Mm.
I have a
Yeah.
very critical, manipulative mom, and I married a critical, manipulative guy,
Yeah.
and
But just is
he,
it okay?
you
Like if
know,
they see that now, like my college boyfriend who I dated for 5 years was a really there were some things when it was really really great. It was really really great. When it was really really bad, it really really sucked. But now we've
yeah,
both been away from that relationship for 15 years, and we are really great friends, and we can both go. And he said like, "I was so bad, and I sucked, and I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "It's cool."
yeah, I don't know if that's the case with me. Like,
We're not
I know.
there yet. We're not there yet.
I
We're
don't
not
I
there.
don't know.
Not there
Yeah,
yet. Yeah.
but like is our co-parenting relationship much better now? Totally.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
but I would say that from my perspective, and that's mine, like I
Yeah.
understand that he might have his own perspective.
Yeah.
I think that we both had just wounds that, got amplified in being
Yeah.
married to each other, which can be an opportunity to dig in and learn and heal,
Yeah.
or to be explosive. And I chose dig in, he chose explosive, and I'm sure he was in a lot of pain, and I wish I knew what I knew now back then, but I didn't. I only knew what I knew, and I tried the very best with the tools that I had at the time, and they weren't working.
Yeah.
So, after 7 years and two babies, we called it quits, and
Hmm.
here we are now. But yes.
Yeah.
So I thought I learned all the things, and so yeah, not until round two was I like, okay, so I'm missing something.
Yeah.
And what I realized the thing I was missing was my relationship with myself
Okay,
because I was so mean to myself.
this is the perfect segue. So what we were talking about right
No.
before I hit record, where I was like, "We have to hit record right now."
She's like, no,
No,
stop talking. We got to record it.
we're recording this. Otherwise, I'm like, we're never going to be able to like organically make it back up the same. Was
True,
so
true.
you consider yourself to be an extrovert?
I'm very extroverted.
You're
Yes,
very
ma'am.
extroverted. Okay, I
Mhm.
am 1000% an introvert, and what I can tell, which people are like, "How are you an introvert?" And I'm like, I prefer being alone the majority of the time. Like
Yeah.
I have to really choose when I want to be with people. But I really just love being alone. And that's because I love hearing the thoughts in my own head and being able to process. But this is what I can tell you is I probably didn't always live like that. And I think that any introvert and any extrovert can hate or enjoy being alone depending on what kind of wounds they are still dealing with. Because to be alone means to really be able to sit with yourself and to sit with you. Like, I have clients where I'm like, my gosh, like, are you like an extrovert? Or are you just so afraid of being alone with yourself? Because even when you're with people, you don't shut up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's because they don't want it. They got to keep talking. Because God forbid they stop for half a second and they have to be alone with themselves in their own head.
Yep. That's true, which is different than like just having a lot to say necessarily. Like there is like a healthy and unhealthy version of both ends of the spectrum.
Correct.
And I tell people this often. Like
Yeah.
when even with my first divorce, I just threw myself into my people. Like I would go to the gym, I would go see my friends. Like I was never alone because I did not want to sit in the suck.
But do you feel like do you feel like you were being avoidant, or do you feel like you were doing what you needed to do as a mom of two to survive and start moving forward? Because
Well,
I think there's, we got to find a balance of like, how much can I really sit in it right now and not be a puddle on the floor for my kids?
yeah, for sure. Well, in my first marriage, I didn't have kids. It was just me. And so that's where like I was definitely
It
numbing
came
out.
from number two.
It came from number two.
Ah,
Bless him. Yeah. So first marriage, I actually miscarried twice. A lot of twos in my life. I got laid off twice,
yeah,
miscarried twice,
yeah.
all the things.
Okay.
It's like God gave me a redo on so many things, you know?
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah, so
like
my
doing
first
anything
divorce,
again.
I didn't want to sit with myself. I didn't want to look at it. So I recognize now I was being very unhealthy. I was avoiding feeling anything.
Yeah.
So then when I got divorced the second time and I had my kids and I'm sitting at home because I'm like, well, I got my kids. I can't go anywhere. They're really young
Yeah.
and they're in bed now. And I just had to like sit, twiddle my thumbs and like face myself.
Yeah.
It was not pretty in the beginning, but I learned to face myself. And now I don't like crave more alone time than people time. I would not say I'm an introvert, but I am willing to sit with myself because I need to process or I need time with myself to just be happy on my own. I
Yeah.
can do that now. It took years to practice. So now when I'm with people, like I'm just enjoying them. I love being with them. It's a beautiful interaction. And then when I'm home alone, I'm like, okay, we're good. Loneliness still creeps up. It still comes in and
Yeah.
like a little snake in the night, like, hey, by the way, because you can be alone and not feel lonely, but you can be with people and feel
And
lonely.
feel lonely. So what does like I was looking back at we've done Enneagram stuff with you, and I was looking back at your strengths finder and just you know what I mean? The fact that you have woo and you have includer and you have positivity, empathy, all of those things that scream community. You not
Yeah.
only like to, you know what I mean? You like creating the community and being a part of it. Like your woo, that definitely is your like, I love me a good stage, you know?
Him, I know. I always joked like, if you give me a microphone, there's glitter in my veins. You
Yes,
know,
yes,
I'm like,
yeah,
yes. Let me tell you all the things that I know.
yes,
Like, preach it from my soul. Like, if
yeah.
I wasn't a Mormon, I'd probably be like a gospel worship leader in another church. You know, I would love it. Yeah, worship leader. Let's go.
You could feel that. You're like, I could, yes, like this could
That
be
would that in another life that would be me
in
for
another
sure.
life
Yeah.
you're in worship. I love that. I think that everyone needs a worship leader, but maybe it just looks a little bit different in your church. So it's
Oh
figuring
yeah,
out,
for sure. Yes.
what does that look
Yes.
like? What does that look like, right? So
Yeah.
for you, when you say that, like, loneliness can still creep in. Like you can be with people and still feel loneliness, right? You can be
Hmm.
alone and feel loneliness, or you can be with people and feel loneliness. For you, what is that? Like, what is that feeling of loneliness? I will say, actually, this just popped up. My friend and I were recently saying how in this season of our life, we've never felt more aligned, but also more alone. Because it's almost like the more, maybe it's age too,
I'm
right?
sure we're in
Like
this phase of life.
around that 40 era, you go, I I say I like don't have time for it. And when I say I don't have time for it, I mean like I'm not making time for it.
Right. I'm not
Just
prioritizing that. Yeah.
I am like absolutely not making time to do other things to make other people feel good, to
Yep.
make them happy, and not like I'm more important than them, just like I don't need to do that. Like that's a huge
No, I've been saying lately that I'm done sacrificing myself at the altar of other people's happiness.
I'm done
And
sacrificing myself at the altar of other people's happiness. But that's
I'm
like
all
what we
done.
talked about with that book, Overcoming Under Earning. Like giving to others at the detriment to yourself is anything but noble.
Right. I love people and I love to serve and I love to be kind and friendly. I love all of those things.
Yeah.
But the past couple of years have been as I've entered my 40s,
Yeah.
she's feeling 42. It's cool. Taylor needs to rewrite that song. It's fine.
Yes, I'm feeling
But
42. Oh my
that's
gosh.
like really like I love what you said about being aligned and alone. It's like I
Yeah.
it's not that I don't have love and compassion for all the people around me,
Yeah. Yeah, I
but
do.
I'm just getting way more intentional with like what I allow in. And it's not just people. It's shows, it's books, it's content, right? Like I'm being very
Yeah.
intentional about what I'm allowing in and getting more
Yeah.
aligned with God and saying,
Yeah.
okay, how can I be the very best tool to build up the kingdom? I want to do that, but how do I do that? And that does require not partying all the time.
Yeah.
I wish I could though.
Well,
Wish
because
I could
I
party
think
all day long.
I know it would always be like a good party emotion because I think like what I was talking about where it's like how are you afraid of being alone with yourself and the voices in your own head? But some of that is God, like the greatest voice that you can get quiet. And I think that's why I enjoy being alone so much is I actually get overwhelmed and stressed when I've been with people too much because I got to get like real shut out the world quiet, focused on my patio. Like my allergies bothering me the last week have been so challenging because I'm trying not to sit outside of my patio, but I'm like, my patio is where I hear God. Like that's where we
It's
sit.
my
And
sacred space. Yes,
yes, it
yes.
is my sacred space. Like that is my Selah. My heaven on earth, my thin space is like you and me and a hot cup of coffee on like a sunny day without breezy wind, light breeze, but not this
Not the
thing
crazy
we've had
we've been
lately.
having. Yes, for sure.
Blowing my couch cushions into my neighbor's yard type of style that we've had.
Yeah.
And to be able to hear that and to hear that direction and hear his voice, I think is a thing.
It is a very powerful thing.
Do you
And
find women are afraid of that?
I think that honestly, we're afraid of our own voice. We're not afraid. I mean, I think we, especially if you subscribe to any kind of like religion, God, spirituality,
Yeah.
but I think we're afraid of hearing our own voice because our voice is the one that's like, you suck, you're the worst, nobody likes you. God doesn't talk to us like that, right? So
Oh,
we're afraid of our own voice. After my second divorce, when I was like face down on the floor, bawling my eyes out, like, how do I still have tears in my body, kind of crying? We've all been there, right? We've all had those
yeah.
kind of cries where you're like,
Yeah.
there should be no more liquid left in me, you know? And you
Yeah.
keep going.
How am I still crying? And also,
Right.
why do I keep crashing?
Why? So I
Why?
finally had this like come to Jesus moment of like, okay,
Yeah.
the way that I speak to myself, the way that I treat myself has got to stop.
Yeah.
So I started this practice of every birthday I would, and this happened for like a year or so before I even got divorced, but I started a practice where I'm like, okay, on your birthday, we're going to write one thing every day of this month that you like about yourself to give myself more time to like come up with things.
Like a birthday self-talk challenge.
Yeah, it was really delightful, actually. I mean, I shouldn't say delightful. It was hard because by like day 5, I was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. So I'd write down something I liked about myself every day. But like I hit like a week mark and was like, I'm running out of things to say. And I had to really push and dig and pray to like get my birthday's in October. So that's 31 days, y'all, that I had to like figure out things I liked about myself. And it was hard. And then the next year,
Huh.
I did it faster. And then the next year, on one day, I said, okay, write all the things. And I just wrote them all down. And I also started a practice where I write love letters to myself.
Hmm. I'm like I'm like
You're
still,
going back to birthday practice.
I
Let's
know
go.
I'm still on the birthday practice. Like I could probably do that 365 days a year. But so then I was like thinking about like your Enneagram. Didn't we decide that your Enneagram was a 4?
I am a 4. You guys, side tangent. If you have not figured out your Enneagram, and probably if you're listening, you have, like, if this is, she's an Enneagram coach, but if you have not yet, get your life together and go talk to Chelsea.
We did
Like,
an
just,
Enneagram typing session, which is so much better than tests.
it's so much better. I've been, like, telling my friend, well, oh my gosh, you guys, I've been running around thinking I'm these things and being an idiot, saying all this crap that's not even true.
Yeah.
And then Chelsea set me straight.
You kept testing as a 2 and a 7, which there's
Yeah.
so many pieces about you that scream a 7, but I'm like, okay, all your actions scream 7, your behavior screams 7,
Hmm.
but the
Hmm.
motivation behind it when she let me rip back all the layers of the onion, which is my favorite thing to do. We ripped back all the layers of the onion and it was very 4. So as you were talking about your birthday self-talk challenge, my sister-in-law is also a 4 who is also born in October.
Oh, hey,
I
girl.
know. And she is currently reading the book Worthy by Jamie
Oh, I have
Kern-Lima.
read it more than once.
Shut up,
I love that book. It's so good.
okay, I'm gonna be so honest, y'all. I actually have never read the book, and I have no need to read the book. I saw her speak in person in a room of like 150 people at a little church
Love
event,
that.
and I'm always like, I have no, I mean, it's like not in my
You don't
writing.
struggle with
I
that.
don't
That
struggle with that. I just heard
yeah.
you saying that. I was like, Gosh, I bet I could tie some of this. So twos, threes, and fours are their emotional root is shame and
Mhm.
worthiness. And
Mhm.
so as you were talking, I'm going like, gosh, I could do every day of the year with even trying. Actually, I kind of do that every day. I write out like 3 reasons I'm grateful for life and myself. Like, so then I started thinking from like a
Yeah.
coaching practice, like, huh, I wonder if this must have to do with their four. Yep, it would be the worthiness.
Mhm.
Like, I think that's really but I think that also speaks to your community that you have, like your podcast, your community, your people, like the coaching and the speaking and the women's events that you do, where you are pulling in these people who have the common thread, right? Like you always want this goal. Like I had a coach one time call me it a golden thread. She was like, "You need a golden thread." It's it was a 2 week ago conversation. The note is right here. It's still sitting here. I'm still thinking about it.
You just
Uh,
did it. Yeah.
I haven't let it go. I'm like 2 weeks later, we're still sitting on it. She said you need to have a golden thread, and I think that your golden thread of loneliness pulls in like a really specific Enneagram type of people, even.
Yeah, for sure. And that it's so beautiful you said that because that for me, and maybe this is different experience for other people, but when I'm feeling really lonely, underneath that is like that worthiness piece, right? Where I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm not connected because I'm not good enough or whatever. Because when I'm at peace with myself and I'm by myself,
yeah.
I'm chilling. Like I don't have these like panicky feelings. So I've been able to deal with that a
Oh,
lot better because I've changed like how I see myself and how I talk to myself.
do you feel that? Like, do you feel like do you f- like? Okay, I think this is hard for me. I don't understand this. So this is like I'm trying to unpack this, and I'm trying to think about people in my life. So when you struggle with loneliness, do the feelings of like nobody wants to be around me come up? Like, is that what you're thinking
I
about?
think so. Yeah, and other people I've talked to, like they may not always admit that, but like
Like,
let's
let's
dig
admit
into
the
that.
thing. I want to admit the things, right? I want you to admit the things you're
Right? I'm
mad
like,
that
I
other
want
people
to
won't
I
admit
want
because you'll admit it.
right. Let's be honest.
I want you
You're
to be honest.
thinking no one wants to be around me. No one cares about me. I like am alone in like the universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm so emotional right now because my sister-in-law, who is a four, I work really, really, really hard at life to be really great for her because I'm an eight, so I'm not innately very great for her. Innately, I'm more like a wrecking ball for her specifically. And I she came and stayed with me for like a week in February, and I worked extra hard because she's very important to me. And just some of the stuff that she said since then, I've been like, I know that she is being like very endearing. Like they're very endearing things. And I keep saying to Kobe, like, I think I'm missing something here. I'm like missing a magnitude of something because I don't understand it because it's like not my like we go. I got enough life struggles, y'all. I don't need more. This is just not mine. I got my
Right,
own, you
right.
know.
Everyone's
I got my
different.
own.
Yes.
Like, please, Lord, don't give me this one. But
Yeah. Mhm.
I don't know. I think I never understood until right now how alone certain personalities really feel. Like, and they feel
Yeah.
alone. Like, if I feel lonely, it's more of like, gosh, I just don't know anybody that I really want to talk to about this right now because I don't know anybody that actually understands, that I actually give a rip what their answer would be, because as an
Yeah.
eight, I get a little bit like, I don't respect this person on this topic, so I'm not going to talk to them because what they would say would be like, you're a freaking idiot in this topic, so I don't care.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
guess
So I
like
don't care
sometimes
about your opinion.
I feel alone, like I don't know who to be able to talk out with it. But I've never thought about like I'm not worthy.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing.
Mm,
I think that the overall scope of loneliness really is around like feeling disconnected.
okay.
Right. But I think that, like you're saying, there might be some other nuances within that of like maybe someone that struggles with worthiness is like, yeah, I don't feel like anybody cares about me or nobody likes me is kind of underneath that.
Yeah.
And, but then maybe for you, it's like, oh, there's no one for me to talk to. But like the overarching theme is not feeling connected,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like we are
Yeah.
hardwired for connection. And
Yeah.
so, like,
Yeah.
I had a conversation with someone recently about like being afraid of being alone, like never getting married. Like, well, what is the fear around not ever getting married? Well, because you're looking for that deeper connection of being married, right? So
Yeah.
it comes back to the connection piece, but there might
But
be
we're
some different
wired for
things
that.
dragging it.
Like I believe that I believe God wired, designed, created us to be in communion and relation with. I have so much to say about this topic, but people might send me a lot of hate mail. So in my personal life, guys, I don't really care what the rest of y'all can do what you want to do with your life. I actually don't care what you do with your life. For my personal life, I believe that God wired me, that I knew for a fact God wired me that there was this perfect for me, not that Kobe is perfect, husband, because I knew that I just like for me felt like God created me to have this other guy where it's like, the wives submit to your husband's thing. Like, I believe that it's more of like it is in that spiritual journey way where they are the spiritual leaders of the household and that we weren't designed to carry all the things.
We're not. And being a single mom, I can tell you it is hard to carry all the
Right?
things, right? Like trying to be the mom and the dad in my house sucks.
Like
Like
there's
it
just
is
something
not a
to
good time.
masculine energy, right? Like there is a thing to this
Yeah,
masculine energy and I
sure.
see my husband at a high school. He works at a high school with 7th through 12th graders every day, and I can pinpoint those boys that don't have masculine energy in the home. I can find
Yeah.
them.
It does make a difference for sure. And
It does.
I've had to lean into trusting that God's a God of compensation and allowing people from my church to like step into some of those like masculine roles for my son.
Yeah.
And, and that is something that hurts my heart
Yeah.
regularly that I have not been able to find a guy to like bring that energy into my home.
Hmm.
But I have learned my dang lesson, Chelsea. I will not settle ever again. I will not allow a man into my life
Yeah.
unless it is a good fit for me and good fit for my children.
Yeah.
And as of today, I have not found that person.
Yeah.
So
But I
here we
think
are.
God
So,
does he fills the space, right? Like my husband's a
he
coach.
does an amazing job. I'm so grateful for how he shows up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think this is very interesting because I hadn't thought about this till our conversation like right now, but like I wonder if part of that loneliness is like a call for something greater. In fact, I had an interview on my show about my friend
Ooh.
came and she talked about like aligning with God, and we kind of talked about that a little. We touched on it, but this is making me like understand even deeper of like it's a call to like the title of the episode is about it's not a no, I messed up on my own dang title. It
Yeah.
was weeks ago, but basically it's like a call to your creator. Like it's an opportunity for you to like turn to God and say, "What do you want me to do with this feeling?"
Oh, I absolutely think so. I think that the emptiness, because we can call it loneliness, we can call it emptiness. Like sometimes we have an emptiness where you might
Yeah,
be
that's
going
a
like,
good
"Oh, I
point.
feel lonely," but sometimes it's like in my career, I feel empty in my career, and it is
Mm,
that emptiness that causes us to surrender, causes us to lean on Him, causes us to go back to being dependent on Him, which is the whole thing that we're supposed to be doing in the first place. Get
right?
alone with Him, hear the whispers that He has for us,
Yes.
and redirect our path.
I
Right?
love that. And that's a very valid point. I hadn't thought about that either, but like emptiness could be like another word for it,
I think it
where
could
like
be.
in some capacity of your life, you're feeling this like lack of some
Ooh.
kind, right?
Can you make that one on
And
your profile? Like, what are all the words that you think could mean loneliness? Because I want to call it emptiness.
I think that's a good idea. I
It's
mean,
like a lack of fulfillment. Like, life is so
yeah.
good and I have all the best people around me, but I feel empty. It's like unfulfilled.
Right, you're feeling unfulfilled, you're not feeling connected, you're not feeling like there's more for you here. So
Mm,
if you're having those feelings, because I think they're all a little bit attached to an anxiety feeling too,
yeah.
right? So
I
like,
think they
okay, you're
can all
feeling some of
create
these things,
anxiety.
right? Because that's probably like, oh, then because you haven't solved it, so you jump into anxiety because that problem's not solved.
And then you're up in your
Just
head about it
overthinking.
instead of like being connected and getting more intimate and having that
Yeah.
more like co-creation time, you know? Like I get
Yes.
really anxious when I haven't had really good co-creating time with God to be like, what are we doing again?
Yeah, that's a
Mm,
very good point. So I
mm,
think it's a thing that comes up, right? It might just
yep,
it just comes. You have these moments you're like, "Oh," and you can name it whatever you want to
yep,
name it, right? Like I love that. But there's like, okay, there's some kind of unfulfillment, whether it's unfulfillment with like connecting with God, with other people. We are designed to be with other people
yep,
in relation, like you said, right? So then it's just an opportunity to check in. It's not a, oh, no, I got to beat myself up because I'm feeling this way again.
yep,
It's hey, and I think first and foremost, it's always check in with God or whatever your higher power is,
yeah.
right?
Do
But
your thing.
check in with that first, and then you can be led and guided to who you need to be checking in with otherwise.
Hmm. Hmm.
I
Can we
think that's
talk
really beautiful.
Yeah, can we talk about like how often do you see women who are struggling with loneliness? I think this is a big thing for women in when it comes to jobs, lots of things. I mean, I
Sure.
can even think of there are probably seasons where I should not be going to the Pilates studio that I go to anymore. Not because I don't think it's the best. I do think it is the best, but it's like the traffic has really picked up. It takes massive chunks out of my day. And so I'm not at my best physical fit self right now because it's very inconvenient for me to work out there, but I don't leave because my community is there and those are like really my only people in my only community. So how frequently do you see women stay in situations where we should probably leave because it's the love and the connection, right? We all have that Maslow's hierarchy of needs, love and connection.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it happens more than we want to like admit.
Admit.
I mean, and right, what's cool is that right now this is very on trend, right? Like Mel Robbins, all these people are talking
Oh, let
about
them let me. Do you think
all the things
people are going a little over the top? I met
a
somebody
little bit.
recently that had a let them tattoo, and I was like, oh my gosh, the Mel Robbins book, and she was like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh boy. She's like, I just saw it on the internet. I thought it was cute and great, and I'm like, it actually, it's actually a movement. It's centered around a book and like some research.
Yeah, what's interesting is like it's not like I mean she admits she's not the first person to come up with this,
Yeah,
right? Like I
yeah.
mean nothing's new. We're all
Nothing is new.
recycling ideas in the best way for,
Yeah. I do
the
think people are
next
going a
generation.
little hog wild about it. I saw
Right.
somebody
But
post on the internet today. I'm like, oh boy.
it's a lot. But they even and her included, but like there's just a lot of stuff I'm seeing lately from lots of influencers kind of around this like friendships and relationships and knowing when we got to like let it go and it's popular right now. Not just Mel
Y'all,
Robbins, it's popular.
yes, Henry Cloud. Henry Cloud actually started it way before all that with his book. I'm about to do an episode of the 10 books that shaped me, and one of them is Henry Cloud's book, Necessary Endings.
Ooh.
I know Henry Cloud is a clinical Christian psychologist who wrote the book Necessary Endings, the employees, businesses, and relationships that all of us should have to give up in order to move forward. It's just about pruning, right? Like we got to like trim things back so they can grow into all they're meant to be.
Right. And not from a place of like, I don't care about this person, I don't love this person. It's
No, from a
just,
place of
yeah,
like we gotta
trusting
like seasons, reasons, lifetime, guys.
totally. In fact,
I'm not
didn't him
pruning
and
my
the other
heart.
guy write the Boundaries book?
Yeah, him and John are the fathers of the book Boundaries and the whole concept of
I love
boundaries.
it. I love
20
it.
years
But
ago.
yes, I mean, it is everywhere right now. People are talking a lot about it. But I think that it goes back to that worthiness piece a bit,
Yeah.
right? Like, or having this fear that there's not going to be somebody else. So if we let go of a friendship, I think that's even true of like our stuff. Like people
Mm.
have a hard time letting go of their clothes because they're like worried they're not going to have something to fill the space.
Yeah. Oh, let's
With their
sit on
friend, they're
that.
like, oh, if I let go of
Not
this friend,
not letting go of
then
a bad friend because we would rather have a bad friend than have no friend at all. I've done that a lot of times in my life.
I think
I
everybody
hope my
has
mom
to
and my
some
husband
degree.
don't listen to this. They'll be like, "You're really good at that." I'm like, "I know."
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think we do that with friends. I think we do that with jobs. Like the
Yep.
job is not a
Lots of
good fit for
things,
us.
right?
We deserve so much more from the job, but we stay in the job because we don't believe that there's a better opportunity for us.
Right. And what's hard is that we have to trust to clear the space in order for the new thing to come in, you know? Which is
Mm.
not easy to do. I just had an experience recently where like I met a guy, like thought he might be awesome. We
Mhm.
kind of started feeling things out for a few weeks and he was very interested in me, which does not happen a lot, friends. I
Stop
I'm a
it.
really
Get out of
I
here. You're
I am
in a
telling you
party
right
of
now,
fun and
I
emotion.
don't date a lot. I don't. It doesn't
Really?
happen a lot. I don't get hit on a lot. No. So I got a little
They
like my
probably don't
old
know you're
self.
single.
I don't know about that. So my old self kind of got a little bit like, oh, someone likes me,
Yeah.
But then I started
Yeah.
noticing some things, and I was like, okay, this isn't in alignment with the things I want in my life. So I had
Mhm.
to make the hard choice to say, because I came to this moment of like, okay, this isn't in alignment with the things I promised myself and promised God, and I need to say
Ooh.
no. But it's scary and hard because what if I don't find anybody else?
Yeah.
My options are few and far between. Girl, also let's acknowledge the fact that I'm old, I got kids. Like this is a different dating pool, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
options are
Yeah.
few and far between anyway. So I'm like,
She's
okay,
not 20, guys. She's not
he ain't
20.
no, I ain't
Nope.
20. So when I had to say, okay, well, even if there's nobody after this, can I trust that the promises I've made with God are more important? Like, can I honor that relationship with God more
Yeah.
and trust that even if nothing else comes after this, that this thing isn't like the right fit for me? I know it's not.
Yeah.
So, can I trust? So I had to call him and tell him and like end it, whatever. And it was kind of ugly. And, it was hard. I cried for like 4 hours. I was like, sucks. This sucks so bad.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, you know what? Everything is going to be okay because my relationship with God at this point
Yeah.
is so strong and so solid that I'm like, it's going to work out. I don't know how,
Yeah.
but it will. And yeah, and it hasn't yet, right? Like I have had some new interests come in recently and
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes, but I'm not worried anymore. Like that was a really big hurdle for me of
Yeah.
like, oh, my old anxious attachment would have jumped on this in a heartbeat, but we've learned and we've grown and we
Yeah.
know our value, we know who we are, we know we belong to him.
Yeah.
So swipe left and moving on.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And it was cute. My daughter actually called me like right after I'd called him. She's randomly called and she's like, "Are you on a date again?" I'm like, "No, it actually didn't work out." And she's like, "Oh, Mama, there's someone out there for you. And if not, you have me and Evan." I was like, "You are God's gift. I love you, you sweet girl." So
I
I
mean,
do. I trust it will all
yeah.
work out in all facets of my life.
Yeah.
I don't have the answers right now for certain things, but it will work out.
I think it's trusting too that my 20s was like a very diligent journey to figuring out who my husband was because I felt like I needed to know who that person was to decide what I was going to do for my life. Like, I don't know why that was the order in my head. But my mom would always say, the perfect person is right there. You probably already know him. It's just that you're on a journey and he's on a journey. And when God feels that y'all are at the right point to meet each other, the relationship will start, which she wasn't wrong. My husband and I, we did know each other for 5 years. And then one day he walked in the door and I was like, I swear, y'all, Bible, I swear. God was like, oh, you're going to marry him. And I was like, huh, really? And God was like, yeah. And I was like, huh? Like,
Okay, that's cool. That's
like
cool.
I remember where I was sitting, what he was wearing. I was dead deep in a conversation, actually with another guy. And I just like saw him out of the corner of my eye walk in. Like I knew he was coming because somebody was like, "Hey, you should text him. If you text him, he'll come." I was like, "Okay." And
Yeah.
yeah, we've been friends for 5 years. He'd been in love with me that whole time. And I was teasing him. He was in love with me, but he really did like me. He just is an Enneagram 9 and didn't know how to ask me out. And so, we were both like through there dating other people, but still. But yeah, I can say for sure that I had some stuff I had to learn
Yeah.
before I could have dated him, or I would have just eaten him alive. You
Sure.
know,
And look at you now. I
and
love
so
it.
it could be him, right? It could be him. Like we're just waiting on him to sort some stuff out, and then or your kids. Like it could be your kids being in a certain season of life.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's the thing is that this journey of like understanding loneliness more has like
yeah,
really just deepened my connection to God, right? Like
yeah,
everything will work out because I'm trusting him because I just seen too many miracles to not trust him at
yeah,
this point.
yeah.
So,
I have a life mantra: God loves me, and everything goes my way, even if I don't quite see it yet. It's my life
yeah,
mantra. So
it's a good
how
one.
did you we're going backwards today, y'all. So how did this come about? So you have a podcast called Overcoming Loneliness for Christian Moms, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You can go to anniejoy.com and you can get a free guide about overcoming loneliness, right?
Yes, ma'am. Hmm.
It's possible to get some coaching out of you.
Maybe. We'll
It's
see.
possible. She takes some people every now and then. You are available for speaking. You love a good microphone.
I do love me a good mic. I love a hot mic.
Love a
Yes,
hot
always.
mic, glitter in the veins. Like, when you said that, I was like, that's hysterical, glitter in the veins. You have a women's event coming up in June. Do you want to talk about that? Tell them what
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
So, yes, ma'am. So it is in Lakeside, Arizona. It's June 9th through the 11th. So it's just like a 2-day
Yeah.
pack it in.
Yeah.
It is called the Gathering Ground because I like you said, but all the strengths that I have in the Clifton Strengths Finder, like I am a
Yeah.
person who loves to gather people and make them feel so loved and seen
And
and
entertained.
entertained. I'm a good time. I'm a
You're
party.
like your includer wants them to feel included. Your empathy
Yes.
wants them to feel loved. Your positivity wants to help them see the brighter photo fit it the brighter picture, and your woo wants to make sure they're entertained. I mean, in
Totally.
communication and connectedness and learner. I mean, you got it all. You got it all.
Yes, it's a
Yeah.
thing. So my dear friend and I are putting this together. It's
Yeah.
so interesting because when things line up right, like God had a hand in it, you know?
Absolutely.
So her and I both were like, we both had these people we both loved. We're like, oh, we'd love to have these people teach. And they all said yes. Like, okay, this is supposed to happen. Like, it's so
Yes.
good.
Fun.
And kind of the first day of the theme is around like getting really rooted and grounded to who you are and rooted and
Mm,
grounded like in your connection with your spirituality, all
yeah.
the things, like getting really rooted. And then the second day is talking about how to like live your life out loud.
Yeah.
And that doesn't have to mean you're crazy and wild like I am. Because people will be like, oh, I wish I could dance like you.
Yeah.
And this is what I always tell them. No, you don't. You don't want to dance like me. That's not what it is. What it is that you see me being completely uninhibited,
Oh.
and that's what you want.
You have I love following your social media and your dancing antics because it's really you live very you live life out loud, not in like a gregarious like way, but you live it very in a you just own who you are so completely, and I think people are
Yeah.
attracted to that.
Right. That's the thing. They're like, oh, I just want to be free. You want to be free like I am. When I
Yeah.
am dancing, I don't care if you're watching or not.
Yeah.
I'm just being a nut job and
Yeah.
I love it.
You
Like
fly your freak flag well.
I do. Like, I just don't care. And I
Yeah.
mean, there's a bajillion funny stories I could tell you, but I won't, about the kind of people that come up to me and the things they say. And it's entertaining in and of
Yeah.
itself. But the point is that what they're seeing is someone just feeling free. That's what they want. So I'm actually going to be teaching a class on some dancing at this retreat, actually. So
Okay.
about like kind of processing feelings through dance, through like just
Yeah.
feeling more free. You don't have to go become a dancer after this retreat. That's not the goal. It's in that moment to kind of learn some ways to even do this just at home, to allow
Absolutely.
yourself to have that freedom.
Absolutely.
It's just a tool that I have that has helped me be so free, right?
Yeah.
And also just to have more fun. I am very good at fun.
Yes.
I'm very good at playing,
Yeah.
and I think that as adults we've forgotten how to play.
Yeah.
So we're definitely gonna have some play time. Don't let that scare you, but we are gonna play
This is
at
where
the event.
I think you kept testing. This is why you kept testing as an Enneagram 7. But I was like,
Yeah.
no, the root of your fun and your play is you want everyone to feel included. You don't need to be the star. You don't have to be the star of the show. You want
No.
everyone to feel included.
Yes, and like have a really good time, which sometimes is tricky as like a host of a party or whatever. Like I get
Yeah.
kind of because I want everyone to like enjoy themselves and
Yeah.
yes, but yeah, so it's gonna be magical. Come and play. It's gonna be
Yeah.
great.
Where do you find out about it?
So I can send you a link, but it's a very long title because just a Kajabi
Yeah.
landing page. But I can send you the link for the gathering ground.
Oh, yeah, we can put it in
Yeah,
the show notes. We'll put the
yeah, we'll
gathering
start
ground, the
there.
registration for the gathering
Yeah.
ground in the show notes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if you listen to this later and it's already happened or it's already full, you can message Annie. I'm sure she'll do something else again in the fall or
Yes.
whenever.
Totally.
And,
Totally.
and so you can come to that next one, but you can definitely follow her on social media. So, okay, two things before you're allowed to go. One, can you just tell the quick story of like how the heck did you get here? Like what caused you to create this community in this space for women who are, Christian women battling loneliness? Really anyone battling loneliness, but moms. Like,
Sure. Yeah,
yeah,
but for marketing, you got to
yeah,
dial in, right?
yeah.
So, yes, because that is the space that I could speak to the best, right? Like someone who's Christian, someone who's a mom, because I can relate to that so well. Trying to think of like the quickest way to take you down this path because
You were married, you got divorced, you got married, you had the two kids, y'all got divorced.
yeah.
You're going through the
But I
phase.
mean, it started further back than that for me because I attempted suicide age 20, and that's what
Wow.
started my whole like mental health journey.
Well, and what age
And
did you get? What was your first marriage?
I was 23.
So you attempted suicide at 20.
Hmm.
Do you feel like you really healed through that? Then.
I mean, I tried the very best I could. My
That's what
parents
we
sent
got.
me to therapy and
Yeah.
like a short blip, and I served a mission for my church and
Yeah.
met a guy in my mission, married him, and
Oh, that's where you got the married. Okay.
yeah, it's my
Okay.
first marriage.
Yeah.
Yes, totally.
Yes.
I mean, that kind of started my like mental health journey.
Yeah.
So we're really going back. That's kind of probably
Yeah.
like my biggest
Okay.
turning point was like, oh, something's got to change.
Yeah, for
And
20
then
years you've been dealing with these emotions. I mean, you're
oh
also
yeah,
it's really hard because as an Enneagram 4, like you were really born with kind of a melancholy. You're always going to have it. It's like
Like I got feels for days.
feels eating the Skittles. Fours eat fours experience emotions like eating a bag of Skittles all at once, all day long.
Yeah, when
You
you
feel
said
all
that,
the
I was
feels all
like,
the time, all at
yes.
once, right?
I feel so many feelings
All the time at
often.
once.
Yeah, I don't know about all the time, but
A
often
lot.
I'm feeling lots of feelings, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. So I mean, so I have been working on this education around mental health for a long time. I got a degree
Yeah.
in psychology after my mission to like start diving into that more, and
Oh,
yeah.
I
So there's been
didn't
lots of
know
things.
that. Okay, so you got your degree in psychology. You got
Sure did.
married again.
Yep, got married again. Thought I
Had
would.
the
I mean, I
kids.
kept thinking I was going to get a master's degree and become a therapist, but
Yeah.
that role keeps getting blocked over and over again.
Yeah.
So then, then later on, I did get a coaching certification and did coaching for a while, and
Yeah.
so I've learned a lot. But what I realized was that there's these pieces that I feel like consistently make a difference. So I first started my kindness camp for girls in the summer
Yep.
to create this educational space of understanding your worth and your value,
Hmm.
understanding your own brain and your own heart, and then understanding like how to communicate, speak up for yourself, and then understanding what it means like to be a leader and give service.
Yeah.
And I had this like call come to me in the middle of the night, like, oh, you need to do this. I'm like, oh, okay, fine.
And you still do this. You still have the kindness
I
camp for
do.
kids.
Yeah. Yep. This will be my fourth summer doing the camp. So that kind of became like the first, and it really like blew up like financially for me. Like the actually like my first summer, I booked all the spots.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I have, like, no real marketing campaign, I just filled them up." Like,
Yeah.
"Okay." So then,
Well,
like,
that's
every
when God goes
summer,
like, "This is a good idea. I
it's
like
like,
it."
"Oh, okay, keep going, sounds great."
Yep.
So, I mean, I've always wanted to work with women more, like, I like working with kids, it's
Yeah.
great, it's so empowering to see these young girls start to light up about these concepts, right?
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, I want to work with women, but that's the idea that came, and that's what started making me money, so I started doing that more, and I will probably do it till I die. My daughter says she wants to take it over when she grows up, and that's fine.
Ah!
I love her. I mean, I do it for 4th to 6th grade girls, and that's her age range, right? And
Yeah.
so, in fact, last summer she took the clicker and was like, "Can I teach this part?" I
Yeah.
was like, "Yes, girl, you can." So she got up there and like taught the analogy, and like I am beyond proud of this baby girl. And
Yeah.
anyway, so realizing that okay, but doing that camp also allowed me to put the pieces together. Like, oh, these are the skills, these are the things. Because for the camp, I frame it as in this is how we be kind, right? We say, oh, be kind, be kind, be kind.
Yeah.
Everybody says that, but what does it mean,
Yeah.
right? So then it's like, no, I broke it down to when what kindness means is that I know who I am. I take care of my own experience, so I don't dump it on other people. I speak up for what I need, and I love people and serve them. That's what kindness means.
Mm.
So when I broke that down, it
So
allowed me to then kind of take the next step to say, okay, these are the concepts. Like I had to kind of distill them all down into like, this is what I want to talk about.
absolutely.
And then it became this like marketing game of like, oh, I'm going to call myself a confidence coach. Oh, I'm going to call myself a
Yeah.
communication coach. I'm going to call myself like just tried and tried and tried. That's my three, right? Like
Yep. Trial and error.
trying, right? Like, how do I get through these women? How do I let them know I have
Hmm.
something to tell them? And not until like all these pieces finally came together of like, oh, well, the pain point is actually my friend that's doing the event with me. Her and I were talking, like brainstorming, and she's like, well, let's just talk about what do women complain about? She's like, you know what I hear people say all the time is like, I don't really have a friend, I feel lonely. And it just like boom hit me.
Wow.
Oh,
Or
that's
like
the pain point.
surrounded by
That's
a lot
it.
of people, but you don't actually like any of them.
Yeah, I mean, you don't like them or like you don't like yourself. And so you're trying to find people to like fill that void or,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, look around our world. We are in a loneliness epidemic.
Yeah, we are.
Our world is more disconnected than ever.
And I think we have been for quite some time,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So all of that and like COVID was really happening and that really helped you figure out this niche space of helping women address their loneliness,
Yeah. So I
right?
realized that that was kind of the underlying pain point under all these things.
Yeah.
Because I mean, taking all the marketing classes, it's like people are going to buy Tylenol over vitamin C. Right. So I'm like,
Yes,
oh,
no,
come
it's
be
so
come learn confidence from me. They're like,
yeah.
neat.
But
You know what I mean?
we talk about on here a lot. We don't give people what they need, you give them what they want. In
Yeah.
marketing, you give people what they want,
Right.
not what they need. They need vitamin C. They want to fix the pain. So you give them
Right.
Tylenol.
Right. So it's like, okay, well, I see that the pain you're experiencing is this loneliness, right?
Yes.
Cool. And then let's
Yes.
come talk about it. And then I'm going to help you figure out what you actually need are these things. And then you will stop feeling lonely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Or when loneliness comes up, because here's the thing, I can't guarantee someone will never feel lonely again. It's going to come,
No. Don't you think
right?
everybody
It'll
can
come up.
experience, because that's, I also think that sometimes it's just a trigger that we need to move in life, right? Like, because if
Right. Like it's
loneliness
not a
can be a
scary
feeling
thing
of
anymore.
emptiness, I'm feeling empty and alone in my job and my
Yep.
career, the season has ended, the invitation is over. God's probably told you to move and you just keep staying. It's a you problem.
Right. Right. But like when those things come up, it's not a scary thing anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't create anxiety. It's just like, oh, here's this feeling
Oh,
that I have. What is it I'm needing? Like it's just a cue
it's the
to like
cue. Yeah.
clue
It's
in.
a sign. It's a sign for movement.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I
I love
love
that.
that so much. It's a sign for movement. Yeah.
Sign for movement.
Something's gotta change and we gotta stop being afraid of change.
Agree. Agree.
It's inevitable anyway, so just lean into it.
Yeah, and as people who have three lines and they're human design, like she's a 3-5, I'm a 3-6, which is, I'm just then that personified. I think, crash, burn, learn, throw the spaghetti at the wall, give it a try. Most of it's going to fail. Keep going, try at it again. What was working now isn't working.
Yeah.
We are experts in that. I'm not saying we like it.
Yeah, but we still gotta do it because
But it's just
that's
who
just
we
how we
are.
do.
It's
It's
how
how
God
we
wired
do.
us. Yay!
Yep.
It is how we do. Okay, so in closing, is there any type of tips or permission that you feel like you could give to women who are struggling with loneliness?
I love that.
Other than, y'all, go to her podcast, download her guide,
Just
watch for where
come
she's
listen to me. I'll tell you all the things. But
speaking, go to the women's event, all the things. What is that permission that you feel like you could give to women struggling with loneliness?
I love you said permission. Like that's like bringing something up. I got to think about that.
Yeah.
Permission to accept that you're worth being around.
Permission to accept that you're worth being around. And that can be for friends, but it can also be um one of the greatest, like, that thing when you think about it, you get a pit in your stomach and it hurts and you just cry instantly. That,
Yeah.
whatever we want to call that thing. One of my greatest that thingy in my life is I've got a few friends who are single and doing the work and are still single and have put themselves out there and dated the people, and every time it's like, oh my gosh, this is the person, like, oh my gosh, and then the guy will be like, I'm not ready for commitment. I'm like, I'm about ready to fly across the country and just put all of you on a ship together and ship you somewhere else to get you out of my space,
Mhm.
because it's so frustrating for me. But I think that can go to them, like, it's like obviously they want that because they're on the apps, they're in the communities, but it's that you're worth it. You're worthy of it.
Yeah. You're worthy of one people there. If you haven't found the people that want to be around you, it's not that there's no one. You just got to keep looking. And I'm reading the book Real Love right now by Greg Bear, and he
Ooh.
talks about like telling the truth about yourself. And when you tell the truth about yourself, certain people are going to say, "Oh, not for me." And that is okay. It's learning to
Ooh.
be okay with people not liking you because it's not about you.
Okay, so when this comes out, the episode that will have come out the week before from Christine, we talked about in business polarizing people by just planting your flag on certain topics, right?
Yeah.
And one of those topics that she talked about, for her, she's a kingdom builder, she's a Christian woman, she builds a Christian business. And we talked about like how that can really polarize people. And I'm like, I know, man, like I don't want to polarize people like that. Like I'm probably like the most woo-woo Christian that possibly exists. And she said, she goes, I've had business mentors tell me, oh my gosh, no, don't bring that up in business. It'll polarize people and there's no reason to do that. She goes, but then I had somebody that said how, when you like really plant your flag on something that you really believe in, I think of Alex Clark. Whoa, that girl planted some flags. When you plant those flags on things that you really believe in, yes, you run the risk of polarizing people. and pushing a lot of people away that don't believe what you believe. But if you don't plant your flag, you run a greater risk at pushing away the people that would have been perfect for you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
Like, and I think that's
Yeah.
sad. Like that real love. Like
Yeah.
we're
You tell the
trying to
truth.
be too chill.
Yeah. Because we can tell the truth and still be kind and loving to all the people. This is not giving you permission to go be a brat,
And it's not
right?
judgment either. Like it's like not
No,
judgment.
it's
Like I
not. It's
don't
just this is
care.
what I feel. And when he's talking about tell the truth about yourself, it's the truth about yourself.
Yeah.
It's saying, I feel this way. This is what I think. This is who I am. This is what I'm
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Right? And then some people are gonna say, sign me right up. And some people are gonna say, you are a nut job. Please get out of
Yeah.
my life.
That's why I'm like, I
And
don't care what other people do with their life. Like this is what I knew was true for my life. You do
right.
what you want to do. I don't really care.
Right. But for all those recovering people pleasers, guess what? We also have to recognize that, and this has been a huge one for me, is if someone no longer aligns in your life,
Yeah.
they're not your job, and Christ is going to find someone else for them.
I know that's so hard. I really
It's
struggle with that
so
because
hard. It's so hard.
I know when I'm taking up space that I don't want to be in anymore, I know that I'm actually taking that opportunity away from somebody else.
Yeah,
And
which
I
is hard to
know
come to.
that.
Come to. It's hard. It is. But
Yeah.
that's the thing is when we release people with light and love, it's different than like shutting people off and whatever. And it's like, no, this just isn't for me. And that's like the boundaries thing comes in, right? It's
Yeah.
like, no, this is
Yeah.
where I want to be. In fact, I mentioned this episode earlier about the, calling to your creator. But
Yeah.
this girl, Kenzie, she talks about boundaries as in like, this is the space I'm going to be in. You're welcome to join me here. But
Yeah.
if not, that's okay. But
Yeah.
like, this is the space I'm going to be in. I'm not doing XYZ. Like for me, hard line around like drama, toxicity,
Mm.
no thank you.
Yeah.
Not interested.
Meh.
It's not that I don't care about those people, which is hard to come to, right? It's like
Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna take it this way. I can't be responsible for how you're gonna take it.
I mean,
I can't. And I can't going back to I can't sacrifice my happiness for you.
no. At
Can't do that.
27, I lost my lifelong best friend because she had another friendship, and I was like, if being a friend to you means I have to be a friend with her, I no longer am going to be a friend with you. And this was my since born in the
Yeah.
same church, like
Yeah.
lifelong best friend, still miss her. That it was like the only way to get her was to also have this other person who it's like, man, if that's really that person that you want in your life, like I'm missing something because she is really not me. So if she is you, then you're not me. And that sounds crazy to
Yeah.
say, but like it is a little bit of that.
Yeah. I mean, because
Yeah.
we are the five people we spend the most time around, and so if a friend is now placing them in a position where
You're now
we
having
just
to be
don't.
around this other person a lot.
Right. Well, even if you're not, like, just the life they're choosing may not align with yours anymore. And
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that it can't circle back around at some point,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it
It's
doesn't
hard.
mean you don't care about them. It doesn't mean you don't want to, like, check in on them and, wish them happy birthday, like, whatever. Like, I think that
Yeah.
we kind of have this black or white thinking around, well, it's either got to be like besties or like we hate each other. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, there's many circles to friendship, like layers of
Yeah.
circles of
Oh,
friendship. And there's so much nuance. And
agreed.
so that's why it's got to come back to like connecting to your higher power about how to handle all this stuff,
Yeah.
So give yourself permission that you are worth being around.
Mm.
And even if some people don't feel that way, that just means they're not your people. And I don't know, like my heart is always like, if you don't think you're worthy, like, will you please just send me a message on Instagram? Like, just
Oh.
I will find the good in you because I am so good at that.
You
There is good
are
in
so good
everybody.
at that. You are
I
the
am.
absolute best at spotting the patterns of worthiness. You are, that is where you, I think, like if you could hang your hat on anything, I think you could take, if you had 1 hour with everyone in the world, you could extract their story and help them spot their own patterns of greatness.
Absolutely, because everybody has it. My joke is always like, if I hung out with Hitler long enough, I'd find something I liked. You
Yeah.
know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's to my detriment sometimes because I've like let people in too quickly and
Yeah.
like given them the kingdom when it's like I barely know you and I like gave you my whole life, and
Yeah.
so I'm learning to balance that, but like still see the goodness in them and still have some boundaries around that.
Yeah.
But it is easy for me to find good in people. So if you don't
Yeah.
believe that, girl, I got you. I will tell you what's good about you.
You're like a worthiness extractor, you
Oh,
know?
hey, girl,
You know?
extract it right out.
You
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
You like
I mean, I'm also the best hype girl. Like, if you need a pep talk, I got you.
yeah.
Like, it's yes.
See, there's
So the
that
point
party trick.
is,
There's that party trick.
there's my party trick. That
Yeah.
hype girl.
Yeah.
Point is, when I genuinely believe, and I know we talked a lot about different nuances of the loneliness, but
Yeah.
for the loneliness that I have experienced, my personal experience has been
Mhm.
that the fact that I've learned to love myself so deeply and so fiercely, that has been the absolute trick for me. Is when I feel so good about me,
Yeah.
those other things don't phase me as much, and other people's comments don't phase me as much, and
Mhm.
there's other pieces too, right? That's why I have several like days of this kindness camp. Like it's not
Yeah.
just the one thing, but if that's where you can start is like understanding your
Mhm.
worth. Because I love in the worthiness book, she talks about how your worth is the foundation.
Yeah.
That's it. It don't change. It is bedrock. Your confidence is the house you build on that foundation. Because your confidence can be built in certain areas. Like maybe I'm really confident in this area, but not this one,
Correct.
or it gets broken down at times. Your
Correct.
confidence is fluctuating and it is being built as you go. But
Well,
your
because like
worth,
confidence and self-esteem are different. Self-esteem is how I feel about myself. Confidence is like, what am I
yeah, like how I portray
projecting?
myself to the world,
Yeah.
how I
Yeah.
give my talents to the world, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so you're building that on this foundation of your worth. Like your worth doesn't change. That ain't getting broken down. That's not changing. That is it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just think how much better this world would be if
Mhm.
everybody just knew how great they were.
Yeah.
You know, we would, the wars
There
would
would
stop. Like all
be
the things would get solved if we all just like loved ourselves.
there'd be a lot more kindness.
There would be so much more.
You
I
know,
think
I
it would
get
just,
a
yeah.
lot of grief. I came out of the womb knowing how great I was. And I have
And I'm
no
so glad. Can I just say I'm so happy? I love that your gift. You just know that.
I like came straight out. I mean, I was bullied for the best of all for like 6 years straight. I found the bullying very annoying because I'm like, I just don't understand like why you need to try and make my life miserable. Like you guys are
You're
so
like,
annoying.
excuse me. Like
Like,
there's a disconnect for you. You're like, duh, I'm great.
will you just like get out of my way? Like this is so annoying. Like you are making it your life's mission to try and make me miserable all day long for year after year after year at school. Like seriously, can you go find something else to do? Like that's how I felt about it. Like, geez.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did come out of the womb level 10 confident, came out of the womb knowing I was great and awesome. And an example is like, we'll be at my husband's school and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm actually really, really great at that. I could do that. And somebody never fail. Y'all, I'm just using this as an example, but this has been my whole life. People will be like, oh, and you're really humble too. And I'm like, well, actually, your insecurities are not my problem. I actually am wildly humbled. And I'll go, do you need me to make a list of 5 things that I suck at? Because I can make a list of 500, but I can start with 5.
I
Because
love
I'm a
that.
little savage about it. I'm a little savage to
Yeah.
the 8 of like I hate that when people say that. Like your insecurities also then cause you to rip down other people's confidence. Like, and I'm confident enough.
Okay.
I know
Yeah.
enough to go like, you need to get over yourself. Like, whoa, this whole like, oh, and she's humble too. I'm actually extremely humble. I didn't tell you all the things I'm great at. I just said, oh yeah, I can do that. I'm actually really great at that. You know.
And
But
I
then
actually,
again, I can list all the ways that I suck at things. Like
right. Well, I
finding
mean, I don't talk about God or religion at kindness camp because they're minors and I'm not going to go there.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So it
well, if
is
I ever,
very it is like purely like I don't want
it's
not like
educational. Yeah,
it's
it's not a
educational. It
religious
could be
thing.
like a public education. It has no religious
Right. There's
affiliation
no
in the
religious
kindness camp for
context. But
him.
if I ever teach the same concepts to like a church group,
Yeah.
what I'll say, because I grew up thinking humble meant like you tear yourself down, whatever.
Well,
And
yes,
what
and that's
I,
very much like the very high religion that I grew up in. So when
but the
someone's like,
thing is
"Oh, yeah."
that my church doesn't actually teach that. Like that was just a cultural thing of like you got to like think you're lower than low or whatever. And
Yeah.
what I finally realized is that humble doesn't mean I like think I'm blah blah blah. Like humble means I recognize where my awesome comes from. Like I have these gifts
Yeah.
because God gave them to me. So hiding them and saying I
Yes.
hating myself in the corner is not building a kingdom. It's not doing good things.
I love
So
that. And I think that's where I've never once ever in my lifetime thought I was the source. So I don't ever feel like I'm not.
no, you're like, well, what's the problem? Like I recognize where this comes from.
Yeah.
So that has been, and I've watched people who are like, spiritual
Okay.
people, like online, kind of take a dive. I do think that that's what keeps you humble is knowing that it's not yours to begin with.
Oh, yeah. And I've always known that. Like I've never, and I think maybe that is a source. Like maybe I was just born very, I don't know. I mean, I have really good parents. Like I have really, 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 really good parents who have
I
always
love that.
been very clear. And not that they don't have their downsides. I've had all the therapy because of them as well. You know, like
Everybody does,
I'll
yeah.
hold the good and the bad, but like where my parents are have like nobody's parents have ever been better than mine at. I'll say this is that they've always been very, very balanced in follow your joy. God created you for a reason. He gave you very specific gifts. And it's always been they've always been very specific on, He gave these to you. Now, how are you
Yeah.
using them? So I guess
Yeah.
I've never considered I am the source. Like, I don't have an ego. There's no ego.
Right,
Because
right.
I know I ain't got nothing. And that's something that we talked about last week in the Christine episode is she said it's so much easier for she basically said like it's so much easier for atheists to be successful because they just have to go, I am awesome. Whereas like as Christians, we're like, okay, I am awesome because he gave me these really gifts and these gifts, and am I using them the way that he wants me to use them? And is this really my gift? And we overthink
Yeah,
it
yeah.
because we're
Yeah,
not
but
the source, and we know we're not the source.
right, but like
Yeah.
it's that's where like that draws in community as well because you're like I have these gifts to bless other people's lives.
I know.
Like I have them
They're
on purpose.
waiting for you.
They're waiting for you. And I do teach the girls that. I don't talk about God per se, but I just say you have these gifts that you were given, you were born with them,
Yeah.
and how you become a kind person is you're not being stingy with the things you're good at.
Yeah.
Like I have a worksheet for them to like circle all the things they're good at, and then they write like I am this, I am this, and I am this, and
This is
like, hey,
fourth
but
through
you gotta
sixth
go do
grade
that.
for
Fourth through
just
sixth
girls.
grade. Yes.
Okay. So my niece she just finished first grade. So now she's awesome. She is me with blonde hair.
I
Uh
love it.
I know her dad is like, it's really scary that somebody who didn't come out of you is so much like you, and it's actually terrifying. And I'm like, I believe that for you because he's 8 years
Yeah.
younger than me, so he saw me in my prime. When you're a teenager and he's like 8 years younger and he
Right.
you see me in my prime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was it actually worked out really well for me because then when he was in high school with a license, like he could drive my friends and I around. Like it was such a cool thing. Not that great looking back now. Looking back now, if my parents would probably be like, "Oh my gosh!" So I can see why he's terrified. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, she's absolutely going to be flying to Arizona every summer to go to kindness camp because this would be so good for her. She would love it."
It would be. And
She
I'm
will love
I'm
it.
looking to eventually expand into like other age groups and like
Yeah,
actually run like a simultaneous boys camp.
yeah,
We're just growing every summer. I am a one woman show, so I'm still trying to like,
yeah,
call in the right people to like expand this more, start
yeah,
selling the curriculum so that other people could run a camp themselves because I can't
yeah.
be everywhere and so they don't have to
Yeah.
fly to Arizona,
Well,
you
that's
know?
I'm like my nephews, but they would love it. They would love to fly in, and I think Arizona's a fun place to visit, and then
Sure
it's
is.
fun for parents to like bring their kids in for a couple days, and then they go on a family vacation and go see the Grand Canyon, go see all the things. And I do think about my
Yes.
nephews. I have three nephews. The oldest one, he is like our sweet, sweet, very. He's like when you're just like, how are you so much smarter than me, and you're 7? Like I don't even understand what's happening right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
We are in our space era right now, so we're getting ready to go see all things space associated in this part of the country when they come visit. But he is very sensitive and very highly empathic. And then the other two boys are, they are every reel that you see where it's like the oldest and all their soft feelings, and then the younger ones, and they're like the Joker, just like
Yeah.
kicking people's butts. That is the
Yeah.
other two. So I can see where kindness camp would be great for all three of them. The
Oh,
sensitive
sure.
one to acknowledge his feelings, and then the
Mhm.
younger two to
Mhm.
remind them to be kind.
Yeah. 100%. Yes.
I'm
And
like, I'm putting
so
them all. They're all enrolled.
yeah, that's it. Set them all up. I love it.
Yes.
Yes, but what's so cool is that last summer I had a gal reach out and she's like, "Hey, could you come to the West Side?" I was like, "Why am I not driving out there 4 days, 4 or 5 days?"
Yeah.
So we compromised. And she's like, "Well, let's do like a 2 day, like pack it in." And I was like, "I'm willing to try it. Like that's fine."
Yeah.
And so we got all set up. She like found all the girls. Like it was
Yeah.
all their like Girl Scout troop basically. So I went out there and just did a jam-packed 2 day session to just give them the info, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, girls, I've never done it like this before, so I need your feedback. Like, tell me if this was too much for you, because
Yeah.
maybe potentially I could take other places for like a 2 day stint. Like, I'm not going for a week anywhere
Yeah.
because that ain't gonna happen.
No.
I got my babies, whatever, but maybe I could do like a 2 day stint. So I'd like to see how this works. So I
Sure.
asked them, And this girl, this sweet little 11-year-old, like, well, it was kind of a lot of information. She's like, but I had so much fun
Yeah.
and it makes sense. I was like,
That's a big
clouds
compliment from
parted,
an
angels
11-year-old.
singing. You know, I'm like, this is
Yeah.
what I want. I want it to make sense.
Yeah.
And that's what they
Yeah.
said. I was like, okay. And
Yeah.
I've had glowing reports from parents. I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
It's been a huge journey for me because every time I'm up there preaching to these girls about why they matter and that they make a difference in the world, I'm telling little Annie every single time that she matters and
Mm.
that what she's doing has an impact and her talents have an impact and she can make a difference in the world. On my website, it says kids who care can change the world.
Yeah.
If we all cared a little bit more, the mountains
Absolutely.
we would move,
Absolutely.
and learning how to put that care in a way that makes a difference. So, I mean, it is, I will probably do kindness camp till I die just because
Yeah.
I need that too,
Well,
I'm
this
going to
is
have
it's
to
like
grow and expand, but
healing.
yes.
It's healing for
Yeah.
you, right?
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah. But I do think that everything that happens to us as a child, then we grow up and our calling goes back to heal our inner child. I do think that.
100%. It's
Absolutely.
so fun. It is. I'm only doing 2 weeks this year.
Yeah.
Because again, until I can expand and like hire more people and, sell do all the things, like sell the curriculum so other people can do it in other states and all the things.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I got to do what my bandwidth can do, and I can
Yeah.
do 2 weeks because I also have the women's event.
Yeah.
So I have kindness camp, women's event for 2 days, and the next week is kindness camp again,
Yeah.
and it's gonna
So
be
they
good.
can find you. They can find you. Well, in the show notes, we'll put the links to the kindness camp. So if you're interested in the kindness camp, go there, find the links for that.
Yep,
Right?
all
That's
the
probably the
things.
easiest to do
Yes,
that.
totally.
Oh, and the permission is that you are worthy of being around.
You are
I love
absolutely.
that.
And
My
if you
God.
don't know, come ask me, and I'll tell you.
Yeah. Find her on Instagram. Send her a message. She'll take it. She'll tell you why you're
Yep,
awesome.
it's fun. It's just dear Annie Joy. So dear dot Annie Joy.
Yeah. Dear
You
dot
say,
Annie
dear
Joy.
Annie Joy, please tell me how good I am, and I will tell
Oh
you.
my gosh. You're kind of like, do you know who Bob Goff is?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
What is
Oh
happening?
my gosh. Bob Goff is going to change your life. He
Okay.
is also a really, really great author. He's a world-renowned author. Um, you would really enjoy his story. But
I
at the
would, I'm
back of
sure.
all of his books is his cell phone number. Like,
No
he's got
way.
like 10 best-selling books, and his cell phone number's in the back of them. And people will, yeah,
And
yeah.
he'll just hit him up and tell him the
He'll
things.
actually, he is joy personified. He is actually you, and like, I don't know how old he is, a 67-year-old body.
Ah, I
He
like
is
it.
the
I like it.
67-year-old dude version of you. He,
Well, then I need him in my life.
you
Yes,
do, you do, you do. You'll have fun with
that
it.
is
So,
good.
thank you so much for coming on here. You guys run to her podcast, grab her free guide, look at the different speaking events she has coming up, and please, if you have girls between in the 4th through 6th grade, consider putting them in her kindness camp. So, thank you, Annie, for joining our All Things Excellence fam today.
Thank you.
She'll have you back. So, thank you. Bye, everybody.